The earthquake came before sunrise, shaking the quiet farmland like an angry wave. The ground rolled and cracked, fences rattled, and birds burst from the trees in fear. When the earth finally settled, a heavy silence followed. Sam stood outside his small farmhouse, boots planted in the dirt, heart pounding as he looked across his land. Sam was a simple farmer. He grew wheat and kept a few cows. His life followed the rhythm of seasons, not surprises. Earthquakes were rare here, and this one felt wrong, like the land itself was trying to speak. As daylight spread across the fields, Sam walked his property to check for damage. The barn still stood. The house had a few cracks but nothing serious. Then he reached the far edge of the field near an old stone well that had not been used in years. The ground there had collapsed. A wide tear had opened in the soil, stretching several yards across. Loose dirt slid inward, revealing dark space beneath. Sam felt a chill crawl up his spine. This was no simple crack. This was a hole leading somewhere deep. He knelt and brushed dirt away with his hands. Cold air rose from below, carrying a smell of damp stone and age. The opening was shaped too cleanly to be natural. Straight edges. Smooth stone walls. This was built, Sam whispered. He returned to the house and grabbed a rope, a flashlight, and his old helmet from the shed. He hesitated only once, thinking of his quiet life and the peace he enjoyed. Curiosity won. Sam lowered himself into the opening carefully. The walls were stone blocks, fitted tightly together. His boots touched solid ground several feet down. The tunnel stretched forward, straight and narrow, tall enough for a man to walk without bending. He took a step. Then, another. The flashlight beam cut through darkness, revealing carved markings on the walls. Symbols he did not recognize. Lines and shapes that looked ancient. His breath grew shallow as the tunnel continued farther than he expected. "This is under my land," he said softly. All this time. After walking for several minutes, the tunnel opened into a wide chamber. Sam stopped at the entrance, heart racing. The room was massive, supported by stone pillars. The floor was smooth. The air was still. And the room was not empty. Rows of wooden crates filled the space, stacked neatly, untouched by time. Along the far wall stood metal cabinets, rusted but intact. A large table sat at the center, covered with dust but arranged carefully, as if someone had planned to return. Sam stepped inside slowly. He touched a crate. The wood felt solid, not rotten. He pried one open with effort. Inside were documents. Stacks and stacks of papers wrapped in oilcloth. He opened one bundle carefully. The writing was neat, official. Maps. Letters. Diagrams. Dates written decades ago. Sam's hands trembled. He opened another crate. Inside were tools, strange devices made of metal and glass. They looked advanced, not something he had seen before. Another crate held uniforms folded with care, bearing symbols he did not recognize. This was not a hiding place for one man. This was a facility. Sam backed away, suddenly aware of the weight of what he was standing in. His land was not just land. It sat above something hidden for a very long time. He returned to the surface with shaking legs. The sun was now high, the world above calm and normal. Birds sang. Cows grazed. Nothing above ground hinted at what lay below. Sam did not sleep that night. His mind raced with questions. Who built the tunnel? Why here? Why hide it? By morning, he knew he could not keep this to himself. He drove into town and spoke to the local council. They listened with polite smiles at first. Then he showed them photographs from his phone. The smiles faded. Within hours, officials arrived. Then more. The land was sealed off. Sam stood behind a temporary fence as men in safety gear entered the tunnel he had discovered. A woman named Nora approached him. She spoke calmly, but her eyes held urgency. "You did the right thing coming forward," she said. "What you found may change a lot of things." "What is it?" Sam asked. What did I find under my farm? She paused before answering. We are not certain yet. But this site was built with resources and skill far beyond what should exist here. Days passed. News crews arrived. Helicopters circled overhead. Sam's quiet farm became the center of attention. Experts from many fields came. History, engineering, government. They worked day and night below ground. One evening, Nora returned to Sam with a serious expression. They found sealed chambers beyond the main room, she said. And records inside suggest this place was active much later than we expected. How much later? Sam asked. She met his eyes. Less than 50 years ago. Sam felt his stomach drop. But no one knew, he said. No one ever talked about this. That is the troubling part, Nora replied. Someone wanted it forgotten. As the investigation continued, rumors spread. People speculated about secret projects, hidden operations, and buried truths. The nation watched closely. Then one morning, Nora came running toward Sam, her face pale. They opened the final chamber, she said. And what they found inside confirms this was not abandoned. Sam's chest tightened. Then what is it? She took a breath. It was shut down. Why? Sam asked. Nora looked toward the earth beneath his feet. Because whatever they were working on down there, she said, was never meant to be found. Sam stared at the ground, realizing that the earthquake had not just cracked the land. It had cracked open a secret that would soon change everything. The land around Sam's farm no longer felt like his own. Tall fences circled the fields. Guards stood at every corner. Trucks arrived day and night, carrying equipment and people who spoke in low voices. Sam watched from a distance, feeling like a guest on land his family had worked for generations. Below the ground, the work continued. Nora met Sam each evening to explain what she could. She was careful with her words, choosing them slowly. The tunnel system is larger than we first thought, she said one night as they stood near the fence. It runs far beyond your property. Whoever built it planned for long use. What were they doing? Sam asked. What kind of work needs to be hidden underground? Nora sighed. We are still putting the pieces together. Inside the tunnel, teams uncovered more rooms. Each chamber had a purpose. One room held detailed maps of the region. Another contained shelves of records sealed in metal cases. A third room was filled with machines, silent now, but once powerful. Engineers studied the devices carefully. They found no signs of damage. Everything had been shut down cleanly, as if the people who worked there left on schedule. That frightened them more than decay ever could. In one sealed room, they discovered a wall covered with dates and notes. The writing stopped suddenly. The final date matched the year a major event had shaken the country decades ago. It lines up too well, one expert said. Someone closed this place right before the public disaster. The discovery spread quickly among officials. Meetings were called. Files were opened. Old records were searched. Sam listened from the outside, catching fragments of conversation. They erased it. No official record. Someone protected this secret. One afternoon, Nora invited Sam into the command tent. She placed several photographs on the table. These were found in a locked cabinet, she said. People who worked here. Sam studied the faces. Men and women. Young. Focused. Ordinary. They look like anyone, Sam said. That is what makes this hard, Nora replied. They were not outsiders. They were citizens. Another photo showed a group standing in front of a metal door. A symbol was painted above it. Sam frowned. I have seen that symbol. Nora looked up sharply. Where? On the tunnel walls, Sam said. Carved into the stone. Nora nodded. It appears everywhere down there. It was their mark. What does it mean? We do not know yet. As days passed, pressure grew from the public. News channels ran stories around the clock. People demanded answers. The nation wanted to know what had been hidden beneath farmland for so long. The government released a statement saying the site was under investigation and posed no danger. Few believed it. Late one night, alarms sounded near the tunnel entrance. Lights flashed. Guards rushed forward. Sam woke to the noise and stepped outside. Nora was already there, her face tense. "What happened?" Sam asked. "One of the sealed machines activated," she said. "Only briefly. But it responded to power." Sam felt a cold knot in his chest. "So it is not dead?" "No," Nora said. "It was waiting." Teams rushed underground. They traced the signal to the deepest chamber, the one no one had entered yet. The door was thick metal, untouched by rust. Symbols covered its surface. At the center was a panel with markings that looked like instructions. Engineers worked carefully. After hours, the door opened. Inside was a control room. Screens lined the walls. Old, but advanced. Chairs were pushed neatly under desks. A large display dominated the far wall. On it were words written in clear language. Project Shelter. Below that, a single line. Protect the future at any cost. Silence filled the room. "What future?" someone whispered. They searched the room and found recorded messages stored in the system. Old video files. The faces that appeared were calm but serious. A man spoke first. "If this message is seen, then our work has been discovered. We built this place to prepare for events the world was not ready to face. Disasters. Collapse. Threats unseen." Another voice followed. "We were not trying to control the nation. We were trying to save it." They explained that the tunnel was a preparation site. A hidden center designed to protect knowledge and tools in case of a massive crisis. The machines were meant to preserve systems, power, communication, food plans, medical research. "We believed secrecy was the only way," the man said. "Fear would have stopped us. Politics would have shut us down." Sam listened later as Nora explained it all to him. "So they were trying to help," Sam said slowly. "Yes," Nora replied. "But they crossed lines. They acted without consent, without oversight." "What made them shut it down?" Nora hesitated. "They believed the threat had passed, or that they had failed." Another recording played later that night. A woman appeared on the screen, her voice heavy. "We were wrong about one thing. You cannot protect people by hiding the truth from them. If this place is found, let it stand as proof of both our hope and our mistake." The recordings ended there. The nation reacted with mixed emotions. Some praised the effort. Others condemned the secrecy. Debates filled every channel. Sam felt overwhelmed. His land had become the center of a moral storm. One morning, Nora met Sam with a softer expression. "They want to turn the site into a public archive," she said. "A place of learning. Transparency." Sam nodded. "That feels right." "But there is one more thing," Nora added. "What?" "They found something that ties this place directly to you." Sam froze. "To me?" "Yes," she said. "Your grandfather's name appears in the early documents." Sam felt dizzy. He was just a farmer. "He was also a builder," Nora said. "And he helped dig the first tunnels." Sam stared at the ground, the weight of history pressing down. So this land had always carried secrets, passed quietly from one generation to the next. The earthquake had not revealed something new. It had returned something forgotten. And Sam realized that his role in this story was not finished yet. Sam did not sleep after learning his grandfather's name was tied to the tunnel. He sat at the kitchen table until dawn, staring at old family photos spread before him. His grandfather stood in every picture with the same calm eyes Sam saw in the mirror each morning. Strong hands. Quiet posture. A man who worked the land and spoke little. He knew, Sam whispered. He knew all along. At sunrise, Sam drove into town and visited the oldest records office. Dust filled the air as boxes were pulled from shelves. After hours of searching, Sam found what he needed. Old permits, construction logs, notes written by hand. His grandfather had helped design the early tunnels. Not as a leader. Not as a decision maker. As a builder who believed in preparation and responsibility. One note stood out. If the land survives, the people will too. Sam folded the paper carefully and placed it in his pocket. When he returned to the farm, Nora was waiting. She had been working non-stop, but today she looked tired in a different way. Not urgency. Reflection. They want you involved, she said. In what way? Sam asked. They believe this place should be guided by someone connected to the land. Someone trusted. Someone who understands both the work and the cost. Sam looked across his fields. The wheat moved gently in the wind. The earth felt steady again. I am just a farmer, he said. That is exactly why, Nora replied. The decision took days. Meetings were held. Plans were debated. Sam listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, he kept his words simple. This place was built to protect the future, he said during one meeting. Then it was hidden because people thought they knew better than everyone else. If it becomes public, it must belong to everyone. No secrets. The room went quiet. Those words spread quickly. The nation listened. Construction crews arrived again, this time to open rather than hide. Walls were reinforced. Pathways were made safe. Information was catalogued and shared openly. The tunnel became a site of learning. Sam walked through the chambers often. He touched the stone walls his grandfather had helped place. He stood in the control room where hard choices were once made. He felt no anger. Only responsibility. One afternoon, a group of students visited the site. They listened as guides explained the history. When they asked why the tunnel was built in secret, Sam stepped forward. Fear, he said, and pride. Both can make good people choose the wrong path. A young girl raised her hand. Was it all bad? Sam shook his head. No, it came from hope. But hope must be shared to stay honest. The girl nodded, thoughtful. News coverage slowly changed. Sensation faded. Understanding took its place. The site was no longer a mystery. It became a reminder. Months passed. Life on the farm returned to rhythm. Sam planted, harvested, walked the land each morning. But something had changed inside him. He no longer felt small beneath history. He felt part of it. One evening, Sam visited the old well where the ground had first broken open. Workers had reinforced the area, but the scar in the land was still visible. Nora joined him there. Do you ever wish the earthquake never happened? She asked. Sam thought for a moment. No, he said. It shook loose what needed to be seen. She smiled. You know, your grandfather wrote something else. She handed him a copied page. We build not to hide from the future, but to face it prepared. Sam read it twice. Years later, the site became a national archive and learning center. People came from everywhere. Engineers, historians, families, farmers. The tunnel was no longer dark. Sam remained on his land. He refused titles and offices. But his voice mattered. When decisions were made, people asked what the farmer thought. One day, as Sam walked through the tunnel alone, he stopped in the first chamber. The place where crates once sat in silence. Now displays stood there, telling the full story. He placed his hand on the stone wall. You did not fail, he said softly to the past. You just needed light. Outside, the land rested peacefully. The earth had spoken once, loudly. It did not need to again. The secret beneath the soil no longer shocked the nation. It strengthened it.